Thursday?
It's next Thursday.
That was the start.
Yeah, trig is not a long unit. There's not a lot to it. It is a tool that you need for other things.
I'm going to forget everything in the amount of days. It's like over 7.
So perhaps, knowing that that's a problem for you,
Yes.
you could study on your own during those days instead of only doing it when it's a required assignment. That would be the mature, sort of grown-up attitude to take towards that.
Mature or grown up.
It's time to become it. You can't avoid it forever. At some point, you're going to have to start adulting.
I'll be like Peter Pan.
I don't think so. I know that that is one of the deepest desires of your particular heart, and yet it's not going to happen.
It could. Maybe.
No.
A little bit.
No. All right. Now, if perhaps you want to follow my wife's advice and instead of, fully growing up, become a responsible child, I support you in that idea. But responsible is the first word.
Maybe it should be child responsible then.
No. All right. So this next unit is in Chapter 9. This is on area. A fair bit of this at the beginning, especially. Ooh, Colton made a face. A fair bit of this, especially at the beginning, will be review for you of things that you know from, 6th grade.
No.
But we'll be taking them to the next level.
It's a review from pre-algebra. Pre-algebra was a fog. I don't even remember.
Oh, we use those titles.
I said 6th grade.
I was
even
here
longer ago.
All right. So, a reminder, the area of a two-dimensional figure is a measure of the amount of surface the figure has. That's what area measures. So, like, for example, on this floor, this is really nice because it's in tiles, right? Each of those tiles, if I remember correctly, those are 18 inches on a side, but they're all the same size. We could measure this floor in how many floor tiles it takes to cover it. To measure the amount of surface. Is it a standard one? No, because these tiles aren't, 1 square foot, but it would be a way to measure it. Okay, they're all the same size. The units are always square units. Square feet, square centimeters, square miles, square something. Yes.
How do you say ETC?
Etc.
Okay.
It just means and so on.
Okay.
Is that not something that you...
No, I know what it means, and I know all that. It's just I sometimes don't know.
You just don't hear it very often. People don't say it as often as they used to.
Why did they pick ETC as the letters?
Etc. It's not etc. It's etc.
It's like ET.
So they picked the letters off the word?
For the abbreviation, that's normally what we do. It's a little less confusing that way. All right, so starting with parallelograms. Any side of a parallelogram can be designated as the base. The corresponding height must be perpendicular to the base, though. So typically, you've done problems where the horizontal side was considered the base. Let me just say that it doesn't have to be the horizontal side. It can be any side, as long as you have something perpendicular to it. So, the area of a parallelogram with base B and height H is given by the formula A equals B times H. That's area is equal to base times height. Yes?
Do we get use our calculators on this?
You will be using calculators pretty much for the rest of the year. Okay? Partly because you're going to use trig on these problems.
No! Is that why you put an altitude in?
Yes.
So these are going to take forever.
All right. So the question is, well, why is it base times height? Well, think about this for just a second. In this picture, I showed that the height can be drawn anywhere as long as it's perpendicular to this base or an extension of this base, right? If I were to cut off this triangle and tape it over here, what is this now? A rectangle. What's the area of a rectangle? Base times height. Why is it base times height? Well, the idea is actually pretty simple. Let's say that this base was 8 and the height was 6. How many squares would it take to fill this?
48.
It would take 48 squares to fill it.
Okay, cool.
Because you'd have 6 rows of 8. Okay, so let's find the area. We'll do a really simple one to start with, and then we'll work our way up from there.
Wait,
What?
could H be the base?
No. The base must be one of the sides of the parallelogram, but it can be any side.
But it has to have a perpendicular thing?
To use as the height, yes. So if you're going to find area, you can use any side you want, but you have to have something perpendicular to it to use as the height.
But didn't you make up the height?
I can draw it in. I didn't make it up.
Okay.
All right, so here, let's find the area. So if I use 12 as the base, my height would be over here. And I don't have that length yet. But it's pretty easy to find. What is the height going to be there?
4 times.
It's going to be 8.
How'd you figure that?
Pythagorean theorem, this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle doubled.
Good job.
The 6, 8, 10. So that's 8 centimeters. So what work do I expect? Exactly the same I expect on the trig. I expect you to write the equation, fill in what you know. So that's 12 centimeters times 8 centimeters. And if you don't put the units on until the end of the problem, I'm not going to make a big deal out of that. The area is 96 square centimeters. It is a 3-step process. The equation, substitution, write the answer. Yes?
Is the 12 centimeters counting the whole thing, not
The 12 centimeters is just from here to here.
the... Okay.
Okay? All right, let's move on. So, find the height of a rectangle in which the area is given by the expression 6x squared plus 24x minus 15 square inches if the base is 3 inches. So we're going to use some algebra in this, something we didn't do in 7th grade. So again, start with writing the formula. The area is base times the height. Fill in what you know. The area is 6x squared plus 24x minus 15 square inches is equal to the base, which is 3 inches, times the height. Algebraically, how do I solve that for the height?
Move everything on one side other than H.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Divide by...
Yeah, divide by what?
Oh,
3 inches, yes. Divide both sides by 3 inches. So I'll divide each of the 3 terms in the numerator by 3. So that'll be 2x squared plus 8x minus 5. And what is inches squared divided by inches?
Inches.
Inches. So I need this all in parentheses. Inches is the height. The reason you need the parentheses is because if you don't, you're saying the only part that's inches is the 5. Yes,
if we don't put inches into the end, or can we not put inches into the end?
if you wish, but I'm just showing you why it works out this way. Okay,
Inches is a funny
Oh, that's the answer?
that was it.
Oh.
Since you were given an algebraic expression for the area, all you can do is give an algebraic expression for the height.
Oh,
Okay? All right, so let's try this one. Find the perimeter of a rectangle if one of its sides is 6 feet and its area is 12x plus 18 square feet. Okay, I'm going to draw this one. So I've got a rectangle. And it just says one of its sides. Does it matter which side? No. So I'll put this side 6 feet. It really doesn't matter. And the area is 12x plus 18 square feet. So I'll start with the formula. The area is equal to the base times the height. So 12x plus 18 square feet is equal to the base, which in this case is 6 feet, times the height. Divide both sides by 6 feet. And that's going to give me 2x plus 3 feet is the height. So this is 2x plus 3. And I don't know what x is, nor do I have a way to find out what x is. And that's okay. The perimeter then is just the sum of all the sides. So we're going to have 2 6's and 2x plus 3's. Distributing and grouping the like terms, I'm going to have 12 plus another 6 is 18 plus 4x feet. Yes, ma'am.
Can you simplify that and divide it? Or no?
Simplify it. What do you mean?
Like divide them both by 2?
Well, you could factor a 2 out if you want to and say
But
that
it's
this
the
is
same
2
answer.
times 9 plus 2x feet.
Oh. Yeah.
You could, but yeah.
Have to do it to the p too. If you like.
Yeah, and then you'd have half of p, and you really don't want that. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, then triangles. You've known this formula for a long time. The area of a triangle with base b and height h is given by area is equal to 1/2 base times height. My question to you is, well, why is that? Yes.
Because the triangle is half of a
Not always, but you're close. It's always half of a. No.
Oh.
So yeah, now you've gone too far. In between quadrilateral, which is very non-specific, and rectangle, which is a little overly specific, parallelogram. It's always half of a parallelogram. So you don't have to draw this, but if I was to copy this, turn it around and paste it on, see how I get a rectangle? No, I get a parallelogram, which may or may not be a rectangle. But I know the area of the rectangle is base times the height, so the area of a triangle is half the base times the height. Now, occasionally, you probably haven't seen a lot like this, but occasionally the height has to be outside of the figure, just like in the example we did just a minute ago. All right, page 3.
That's if the height isn't straight. I mean,
That's if the angle at the bottom is an obtuse angle, the height is going to be outside of the triangle. So for this one, we want to find the height, or find the area. Well, the area is half the base times the height. Unfortunately, we don't know the length of the base. How can we find it? Pythagorean theorem. So, and I'm going to notice that this is 2 times 7, and that this is 2 times 10. So this is 2 times something. I'll call it x. Is that a Pythagorean triple? No. So I'll do x squared plus 7 squared is equal to 10 squared. So x is the square root of 51. That's pretty easy to do in your head. It's 100 minus 49. So my base is going to be 2 square roots of 51. So the area is 1/2 times 2 square roots of 51 times the height, which is 14. The half and the 2 happily cancel each other off. And we get 14 square roots of 51 square meters. And that is the exact answer. You may sometimes be asked to give a decimal approximation also. You should always do the exact answer first. Then use your calculator to get a decimal approximation. Your answer is actually better than the one that the calculator gives because they're approximating it.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, let's do some more with algebra. Find the base of a triangle in which the area is 15x squared square centimeters if the height to that base is 5x centimeters. Like, oh, that sounds horrible. Well, let's start with the formula. Area is equal to 1/2 base times height. Fill in what we know. The area is 15x squared square centimeters is equal to 1/2 times the base, which is 5x centimeters, times the height.
Isn't the height 5x?
Oh, sorry. This is going to be the base. Thank you. So what do I need to do?
Divide by 1/2 5x.
Yeah, I would dividing by 1/2 feels weird. So I'm going to divide by the 5x centimeters, and then I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. When I do that, I get 3. What's x squared divided by x? X. And centimeters squared divided by centimeters is? Centimeters is equal to 1/2 the base. So multiplying both sides by 2, we get 6x centimeters is the base. Okay, trapezoids. You did these before. The area of a trapezoid with bases B1 and B2 and height h is given by this formula. Again, you did this in 6th grade and then again at the beginning of 7th grade. Area is equal to 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Basically what we're doing there is we're averaging the two bases out. I think of it as one of them's too big, the other one's too small. Let's average them out. Okay? So here, we want to find the area of this trapezoid. Okay, so we start with the formula. Area is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2, close the parentheses, times the height. What is it we're missing here? The height. So, drop in an altitude here and here to create a rectangle and two 30, 60, 90 triangles. And since these base angles are congruent, I know that this is an isosceles trapezoid. So if this part of the base is 14, how much is left for these two parts together? 8. So each one of them is 4. And then the height will be 30, 60, 90 triangle. 4 square roots of 3. Thank you. So when we have 30, 60, 90 triangles and 45, 45, 90 triangles, we'll still use those rules. If it's some other weird angle, we'll grab our calculators and do trigonometry. So this will be 1/2 of 14 plus 22 times the height, which is 4 square roots of 3. This is going to be 1/2 of 36 times 4 square roots of 3. 1/2 of 4 is 2. 2 times 36 is 72. So that's 72 square roots of 3. And there were no units on it, so I don't have to put units on the answer.
Wait, did you multiply 4 and 36?
I multiplied half times 4 rather than half of 36, which is more difficult. Is there another one on the last page?
Yeah, but it's already 11:15.
Oh well. So let me show you the last formula for kites and rhombuses. Basically, any quadrilateral that has perpendicular diagonals, you can use the formula area is equal to half of diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay? That's a new formula for you. So that's a big star by that one. All right. You all have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday.
Is our homework in the book?
Yes, your homework is in the book.